Hey, welcome. You know that feeling, right, when you're just seething because someone who is totally, completely capable suddenly acts like they can't figure out the simplest thing? Yeah, you're not crazy. And you know what? It's probably not an accident. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on one of the most frustrating behaviors out there, weaponized incompetence. So let's dive into what it really is and why it's so incredibly toxic.
I love this quote. It's from the author of our source material, Michelle de Havilland, and she said it during a fight with her husband at the time. I mean, the logic is just flawless, isn't it? If someone has the brain power to handle a complex, high-performance car, they can absolutely figure out how to push start on a washing machine. It just perfectly sums up the whole ridiculous, frustrating situation.
And this is the perfect example of that absurdity. It's what psychologists call cognitive dissonance. How in the world can a person memorize complex combos on a gaming controller with like 17 buttons, but the geometry of putting a plate in a dishwasher is a complete mystery? The answer is simple. It's not a mystery, they're not baffled, it's a choice.
So yeah, let's just call it what it is. This has nothing to do with someone being genuinely helpless or unintelligent. Not at all. It is a calculated, strategic performance, a show of inadequacy designed to do one thing and one thing only: get out of doing the work. Okay, so here's the official definition. It's literally the art of playing dumb to pass the buck. The keywords to focus on here are deliberate performance and avoid responsibility. This isn't just a one-time mistake. Nope. It's an active, manipulative game plan that's just disguised as helplessness to get what it wants. So how does this whole thing actually play out? And what's the psychological reward for doing it? Let's break down the anatomy of this power move, step by step. This is basically the whole playbook. It kicks off with a claim of inability, usually wrapped in a fake compliment like, "Oh, but you're just so much better at it." If you don't buy that, and you make them do it anyway, they move to step 2. They do it badly on purpose. They'll shrink the sweater, they'll put the pan in the dishwasher wrong, anything to make sure you never ask them again. And boom, the reward. They're off the hook. But the final twist? If you dare call them on it, they flip it on you and hit you with the gaslight. "Why are you always so critical of me?" It's just a brilliant and absolutely infuriating little cycle. So why do people pull this stuff? Well, our source points to 4 main reasons. Sometimes it's just old-fashioned laziness dressed up as helplessness. But a lot of the time, it's actually way deeper. It's rooted in things like gender roles that kind of give a pass to some people for household chores. That classic, "I'm just no good at that stuff." Other times, it's about protecting their ego. It feels safer to say you can't do something than to try and maybe not be perfect at it. And at its absolute worst, it's about power. It's a way to control the dynamic by forcing someone else to carry the load. All right, now we need to talk about the real stakes here, because this isn't just about who's annoyed about doing the dishes. When this dynamic shows up in a romantic relationship, it's incredibly destructive. It's like a slow-acting poison that just eats away at the very foundations of the partnership. Let's be really, really clear. This behavior is poison. Full stop. It throws everything off balance. It breeds this deep, simmering resentment. It absolutely murders attraction. And it turns a partner into a project manager. It's the silent killer of intimacy, and it works a partnership of equals into a parent-child dynamic. And the numbers totally back this up. Look, studies show that even when both partners work full-time, women are still doing about 2/3 of the household and emotional work. That's what's called the second shift. You come home from your day job only to start another one. And you know what? Weaponized incompetence is a huge reason this imbalance is still so common. And this gets right to the core of the emotional damage. Think about it. Attraction thrives on respect between two capable adults. When one person is constantly reminding and nagging and managing the other, that dynamic shifts. You're not lovers anymore. You're a parent and a child. And as the source material says, nothing kills desire faster than that. So eventually, you have to ask, what's even left? When one person has basically become the chief operating officer of the entire household, the relationship just doesn't feel like a partnership anymore. It feels like a job. And that's not a marriage. That's a long-term administrative arrangement. And look, this isn't just something that happens at home. This exact same dynamic is a silent killer in the workplace too. It sabotages teams, drives the best employees crazy, and completely destroys any kind of culture of accountability. Oh, I'm sure you recognize these characters. We've all worked with them. You've got the coworker who's just not a tech person, so you have to fix their spreadsheet. There's the employee who forgot, which really means their priorities are more important than yours. And maybe the most damaging one, the manager who doesn't know how to give tough feedback, so they just let problems get worse and worse. And the fallout from this is just massive. It's a lose-lose-lose situation. The competent people, they get burned out and resentful from doing everyone else's job. The incompetent person, sure, they get out of some work, but they never grow, their career stalls, and they lose the respect of their team. And the company, it loses productivity, morale plummets, and pretty soon its best people start heading for the door. Okay, so what in the world do we do about this? How do you break the cycle? Well, the good news is you can. It just means you have to stop being the frustrated rescuer and start being someone who sets clear, firm boundaries. It's about empowering yourself, and honestly, it's about empowering them too. Now, this first step can be a little tough. It means taking a hard look in the mirror. Because every single time you sigh and say, ugh, it's just easier if I do it myself, you are actually rewarding the behavior. You're teaching them that their strategy works. You're not being helpful, you're being an enabler. So here's a really clear, actionable game plan. First, you gotta see the pattern for what it is. Then, you own your part in it. Next, you set a new crystal clear boundary and you communicate it. But here's the hardest part. Step 5. You have to hold that boundary. Do not rescue them. Do not jump in and fix it. You have to let the natural consequences happen. A little discomfort can be an amazing teacher. And this is so important to remember. It can feel mean to set a boundary, but it's not. Clarity is not cruelty. You're not being aggressive. You are protecting your own energy, your own time, and your own sanity. Real kindness isn't letting someone get away with being helpless. It's expecting them to be capable. So as we wrap this up, let's just zoom out for a second, because this isn't really about who takes out the trash or who formats the report. At its very core, this is about what it means to be a responsible, functioning adult in the world. There's a profound dignity in being competent, in just knowing deep down that you can handle your own business without having to constantly push your responsibilities onto other people. When someone uses weaponized incompetence, they're not just dodging a task, they're actually giving away a little piece of their own self-respect. And let's be real, in the world we live in today, the excuses have run out. You can learn how to do literally anything in about 30 seconds online, so saying I don't know how isn't an explanation anymore. It's a choice to stay helpless and make someone else deal with it. So it all boils down to this one question. And this is for everyone, the person doing it and the person putting up with it. Are you going to choose the hard work of accountability in true partnership, or the easy road of avoidance that always leads to resentment? That choice defines our relationships, it defines our careers, and ultimately, it defines the dignity with which we live. The choice is always yours.